Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. Man, I appreciate y'all for joining me. Man, oh man, oh man, a lot has happened over the last couple of days with every, I don't know, is everybody's favorite former president? I'm not sure. I don't think it's everybody. But but with the former president Donald Trump, he's been killing it. I don't know how else to say it, man. I'm not asking you to like it, but he has definitely been pulling in the wins. I mean, we just finished with Super Tuesday. And so if you take a look here, he swept Super Tuesday, of course. He's won by, almost 88% in Arkansas, over 80% in Alabama, almost 80 in and I'm sorry, that's Alaska, isn't it? Arkansas and 78% in California. I mean, he cleaned up. The only state he didn't win on Super Tuesday was little old Vermont. Vermont's like, no, we don't think we like him. He's also, of course, sweeping it up in the delegates as well. They say he's at least this print right here, he's around 1,025 and he's 1,215 to win. So we know he's, come on, we know. And so also, right, he got hit with the Supreme Court ruling that went in his favor as well. We're going to play a little short video about that. Let's check this out.
For more analysis on that decision, let's bring in CBS News Chief Legal Correspondent Jan Crawford. All right, Jan, as Robert outlined, the court was unanimous, but also many of them let them know they did not agree totally with it. Explain.
Well, that happens sometimes on issues. Well, they agree with the outcome, but they may have different ways of getting there. And that's what we saw today. They all said the same bottom line. The Colorado Supreme Court was wrong and states can't kick Donald Trump off the ballot. But they disagreed with how they got there. And this is where it got interesting. The liberal justices used some very strong language suggesting conservatives were going too far, perhaps worried how their decision might be applied down the road. And then Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote a separate decision saying now is not the time to amplify disagreement with stridency. So you see this back and forth between the justices on an issue where they all say they agree. And why is that important?
Real quick, so I'll come back to why she did that report. So, but for those that are confused, don't know what's happening here, Donald Trump was voted, or not voted, I should say. But anyway, they had a case in Colorado where a judge signed off on Colorado's ability to take Donald Trump off of the ballot due to this special clause in the 14th Amendment that they've been referring to as the insurrection clause. And so, as you know, I mean, if you follow the news, you know that the media, the Democrats, all blamed Trump for what happened on January 6th. And even though nobody's brought any charges or made any charges stick anyway, there's certainly been a lot of accusation. And so, based on those accusations, the state of Colorado decided that based on this 14th Amendment clause, that they could take it upon themselves and rule that Trump is not allowed to be on there. So, as you can imagine, him and his team took it to court and they took it to this. Donald Trump's team took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court unanimously, they all agreed that the Colorado wanted to apply this clause to take him off of their ballot. So as a result, it basically nullified, because there were a lot of states that if Colorado was allowed to do that, there were several other states that were going to apply the same clause and then take Donald Trump off their ballot as well. The Supreme Court shut all that down and basically said, and this is what she's talking about, the disagreement. So the conservative justices just said basically that Congress needs to be initiate the clause. And if Congress initiates that clause, then states can then leave again to take back control. But as we know, the Congress is controlled. Yes. So, so I mean, it's pretty much dead in the water, unless somebody else comes up with a legal strategy to try and take them off. So, but that's where we're at.
Because even where there is agreement, unanimous agreement like we saw today, this court was fractured. And as some of these more controversial cases come down the road, including that one where Trump is arguing he should be immune from prosecution, we can see this all play out where they don't agree on the outcome.
Such important context, Jan. I was reading that too. Justice Barrett writing, the court should turn the national temperature down, not up.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck. But yeah, the national temperature is going to be up, and it's only going to get higher as we get closer to these convention where they officially some very tempestuous times in the country. A lot of people are torn. Say most people are not torn with Biden, right? But they're at least okay with him coming back. But most people are just torn and upset and besides themselves about the fact that former President Donald Trump is about to get to run for president, right? A lot of people are just talking about the 91 indictments, right? At this point, he has the conviction for the civil case with Jean Carroll, and that was an $83 million judgment. At this point, he has the conviction in New York for fraud, committing fraud through his companies and defrauding banks, insurance companies. And so that was a $500 million that was, well, not a $500 million, it was about $400 million. But they say with the insurance, because obviously he's about to appeal this. And so the judge applied a 9% tax or interest rate on those, on that ruling that will run concurrent with his appeal. So they say by the time he's done, assuming the ruling is upheld, he'd actually owe around $500 million. So, so he's losing. He lost in those two cases, and of course, we don't know what's happening in Georgia yet. But a lot of things going on. I think there's another case. So Democrats are really trying. In my opinion, I still think that all of these attacks on the president are all driven by Democratic sources. Right? I don't know who the sources are, but I believe they're Democratic sources. It's this attack that has propelled him to the levels that he is at. Because truthfully, I believe that the Republican Party didn't want him to be their guy either. Their hands were full. And at the end of the day, the Republican Party is about maintaining. And so if Donald Trump is going to be the guy that helps them maintain power, like him, dislike him, great guy, bad guy, they're going to do what they have to do in order to maintain. And so I think that's what we're seeing play out. I don't think the overall party is his biggest fan, but what are you going to do? The people are telling you that Donald Trump is the guy that they want to come in and fix what they deem is wrong in the economy right now, wrong in society and culture right now. And just that overall theme of what they feel like Joe Biden is doing wrong. They want him to come in and fix it. So it's looking very like he's definitely going to represent the Republican Party. And I'm telling you, if I was betting the house for me would be on that. I just don't see how Joe Biden is going to build enough momentum to be able to overthrow the steamrolling train that is Donald Trump right now. And I don't think they're helping their case whatsoever by basically telling us, hey, don't vote Donald Trump. He's a bad guy. He's a this, he's a that. You know what I mean? Now, do I think that he's not making the best? Would I say he's making all the right moves? I wouldn't necessarily agree that he's making all the right moves, but who am I? I'm just a brother with questions. I'm not going to tell you I'm some big political consultant that has all the answers. But I am just a guy that, like many of you, is sitting back watching and really trying to understand, number one, the attack that they have placed on Donald Trump, and number two, the protection that they're putting around Joe Biden when it's clearly, to me, that they're both flawed candidates. And I would say neither one of them are the best of the best. That would be my opinion. I don't think either one are the best of the best. I really do believe that there's better guys that could have been chosen to steer the ship back in the right direction. And that could go either way depending on the side you're on. But I definitely believe that there's better guys that could steer the ship. And I think the problem that we have is that we have individuals who are trying to maintain an agenda, and they haven't found a younger guy to maintain their. And so rather than give that guy a chance, take a chance if you will, they'd rather go with the old dog, with who they know what they're going to get. And I think for me, that's the problem that I have with American government. We'd rather go send the old dogs out to battle than find the young pup who has a plan, a new idea to bring to the table. We'd rather roll out, because I guess at least we know what we're going to get. At least we're going to get. So that's where we are, man. He's winning. He's looking like a steamroller. He is looking like the man. And again, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a Joe Biden fan. And I think I've made that pretty clear throughout my podcast. If I'm being honest, I'm really not a Donald Trump fan. He is who he is. I don't see why people have the passion for him. I don't see what he's really done that requires your passion. I understand how what he's done is different from Joe Biden, but I don't understand what he's done that requires your passion. Because there's a lot of people that don't have passion for Joe Biden. And so, but when it comes to Donald Trump, people have passion. Like it's almost like they feel like this man is speaking to their souls, if you will. And I'm trying to figure out what soul that is. I'm still questioning whether he has. So I'm just being honest. I'm being honest with you because I think a lot of people take me for something that I'm not. Like I'm not this Trump. I'm not MAGA. You won't catch me with that. I think I'm the typical voter, the one who's going to make a decision when the time comes that's ultimately best for them. And be honest, I'm telling you, for me, the biggest issues, Joe Biden hasn't spoken to my issue. And I know that as a black man, I'm supposed to understand more about Joe Biden than they tell me. Anyway, I've been told that several times. But I'm going to be honest with you. He's not speaking to me. He hasn't said anything that I find that is supposed to be important. You know what? That's not true. I'll give him one thing. When he was speaking about student loans, I listened. And I wanted to see what he had to say. And then I was done. So other than that, he's not speaking to me. The one thing that I give Donald Trump credit for is, to me, my big issue is, for me, it's going to be the economy. I really want to know what's going to happen with the economy. Outside of that, honestly, it really doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, every other American, I'm trying to find ways to increase the economy. That's what I care about. Because if I can increase my income, take care of my family better, I can put my family in better situations from a financial standpoint, and I can help secure my future. All the other stuff that you're telling me about doesn't help me do any of that. Supposedly, it makes me feel better on the inside. Supposedly, it makes the world safer. But no, talk to me about the economy. Tell me what you're going to do to make the economy better. And do it without telling me how bad the Tell me what your plan is. How are you going to turn the ship? If you can do that, I'll listen. If you can't turn the ship, I don't want to hear about police brutality. I don't want to hear about mass incarceration. I don't want to hear about any of that. As a black man, I know I'm supposed to care about that. Nope, not at the top of my list. Economy. You know, the one thing I can say about Donald Trump is during his years prior to COVID, the economy was great. Money was flowing. Businesses were happy. Can't say that. I mean, what's Joe Biden going to do to flip this thing around? So, if you can't talk to me about that, Joe, then me and you don't have a conversation. One last thing before I get out of here. I'm going to get out of here because I don't want to keep it too long. I ran across this video, which reminded me why Donald Trump won. Because you have fools, and I'm calling them fools, out here saying foolishness like
are hurtling towards an election where you have a Donald Trump who is more desperate than he has ever been, particularly with this financial ruling, more financially desperate than he's ever been. He was hoarding classified documents about U.S. national security secrets in Mar-a-Lago. And we don't know the full extent. But what I believe is that Donald Trump would sell this country for $1 if he thinks that it would benefit himself.
You're telling me, Miss AOC, that you think this man is so desperate he would sell the country for $1? Number one, Joe Biden had classified documents that exist. Barack Obama had classified documents that exist. I want to hear about classified documents. Give me evidence that he sold it. And then let's have a conversation. But stop telling me that he had a classified document in his house. He's a former president. Whether the books say you can or can't is semantics. But the idea that everybody is just following all the single rules, no, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I think it's irrelevant. But this idea that because of some rule, that he's now going to sell the country just to benefit himself? You mean like some of these other politicians who also want power just as bad as a Donald Trump? And come on, you really want to sell me that Donald Trump is the only one that's really concerned about power in this American government? That every single Democrat is only out for the people? Please, give me a break. There was the documentary a few years ago exposed the lies where y'all all, whether you're on the Democratic side or the Republican side, y'all are all raising hundreds of millions, billions of dollars based on the influence that you have within your position in Congress. So that means you all are out for power. This is not exclusive to Donald Trump. He's just the latest guy to at least be honest about the fact of what that power can do for him. The rest of y'all are lying to us, telling us y'all not taking trips based on your power, and you're taking trips based on your power. The rest of y'all are lying to us and coming into Congress worth 50 cents, leaving 20 years later worth a couple $100 million. At least he's honest about what he's doing. So do I think he's going to sell the country out for $1? Of course, I do not think so. But it's sound bites like that, what I think are disingenuous to who he is. You know, whatever you think he is, I don't think he's that. And if he is that, I don't think he's the only one. But you'll call him out, but you'll be quiet about your neighbor who's using insider trading secrets to make a couple $100 million. So when you start being honest about everyone, AOC, stop gaslighting one guy just because you're afraid he might be the president. And on that note, I'm B. Period. And I'm out.